Welcome to Creepy, the best horror storyteller on YouTube.
Part 1. The Haunting Commute.
In the heart of New York City, where the bustling streets whispered tales of the unexplained and the supernatural, lived a young woman named Lydia. She was a photographer, captivated by the city's nocturnal beauty. Her nights often extended into the early hours, capturing the essence of the metropolis when most were fast asleep. On a particularly misty night, Lydia wrapped up a late photo shoot near Times Square. As the clock struck 2 a.m., she hailed a taxi, eager to retreat to her apartment and rest. The yellow cab approached, its flickering taxi sign the only beacon in the dark, deserted street. The driver, a middle-aged man named Victor, greeted her with a smile that seemed unnaturally wide, his eyes hidden behind shadowed spectacles. Lydia dismissed her unease, chalking it up to tiredness, and got into the back seat. "Where to, miss?" Victor's voice was gravelly, almost haunting. 69th Street, please," Lydia replied, shivering involuntarily as the cool night air seeped through the cracked window. The taxi embarked on the journey. Silence enveloped the car, broken only by the distant hum of the city. The streetlights cast eerie shadows that danced on the buildings, adding an unsettling ambience to the already tense atmosphere. Midway through the ride, Lydia noticed something peculiar. The familiar landmarks she should have encountered were absent. Instead, the taxi navigated through unfamiliar, dimly lit streets. Her heart quickened, a knot forming in her stomach. Excuse me, sir. Are we on the right route?" Lydia's voice quivered, her gaze darting between the obscured figure in the driver's seat and the eerily quiet streets. Victor remained stoic, his gaze fixated on the road ahead. "Trust me, miss. We'll be there soon," he muttered cryptically, his lips curling into an unsettling grin visible in the rearview mirror. Unease turned to panic as Lydia's attempts to orient herself proved futile. The cityscape she knew so well had dissolved into an unfamiliar maze. Her phone displayed no signal, rendering GPS useless. "Sir, please stop the car." "I'll find another way," Lydia pleaded, her voice tinged with desperation. But the taxi continued its sinister journey, hurtling through deserted alleys and obscure roads, each turn plunging Lydia deeper into a disconcerting labyrinth. Time seemed distorted, passing in an ominous blur. As Lydia's panic escalated, she glimpsed unsettling figures lurking in the shadows, apparitions that vanished when she blinked. Her pulse raced, her breath shallow and rapid. "Where are you taking me?" Lydia's voice trembled with fear, her eyes wide with dread. Victor's response was a chilling whisper that sent shivers down her spine. "To a place where the lost find no escape." With every passing minute, the cityscape grew more surreal, twisting into an otherworldly realm. Unseen hands seemed to clutch at the taxi, dragging it deeper into an abyss of the unknown. Suddenly, the taxi screeched to a halt. Lydia's heart pounded against her chest, her eyes darting around in terror. She looked out the window, her breath catching in her throat. Before her stood a towering, decrepit building, shrouded in an unnatural darkness. The street lamps flickered, casting an ominous glow on the derelict structure. "Get out," Victor's voice reverberated, devoid of warmth or humanity. Lydia hesitated, her mind a whirlwind of fear and confusion. With trembling hands, she fumbled for the door handle and stumbled out onto the desolate street. As she turned to confront the taxi driver, her heart froze in terror. The taxi, Victor, and the eerie building had all vanished into thin air, leaving Lydia stranded in an unknown, chilling realm. Alone, surrounded by an unsettling silence, Lydia realized she had ventured into a nightmare far beyond her wildest fears, a nightmarish journey in the ghost taxi of New York.
Part 2. The Haunted Abyss.
Left stranded in an unfamiliar, shadowy landscape, Lydia's heart pounded with a primal fear she couldn't shake off. The desolate street seemed to stretch endlessly into an abyss of darkness, devoid of life or any signs of civilization. With trembling hands and a racing mind, Lydia ventured forward, hoping to find an escape from this eerie abyss. Each step echoed ominously, resonating through the ominous silence that enveloped her. The air grew colder, a chilling fog descending from nowhere, veiling the surroundings in a ghostly haze. Shadows danced, taking on shapes that flickered and morphed, whispering indiscernible secrets that sent shivers down her spine. She hurriedly navigated through the haunting labyrinth, the distant echoes of her own footsteps the only company in this eerie void. The passage of time seemed distorted, minutes feeling like eternities in the relentless, surreal darkness. In the distance, a faint glimmer caught Lydia's attention, a feeble light emanating from what appeared to be an abandoned storefront. Desperation fueling her resolve, she quickened her pace, drawn toward the solitary beacon in the sinister gloom. As she approached the dilapidated storefront, the eerie illumination revealed faded letters on a signboard, the Forgotten Emporium. Cautiously, Lydia pushed open the creaky door, its rusty hinges protesting against the movement. The interior was a spectral museum frozen in time. An assortment of peculiar artifacts adorned dusty shelves, each item exuding an inexplicable aura of dread. Curiosities from forgotten eras lined the shelves, their presence amplifying the eerie ambience that permeated the space. Lydia's heart raced as she scanned the dimly lit emporium. A sense of foreboding washed over her, a feeling that she was not alone in this spectral chamber. "Who's there?" Lydia's voice trembled, reverberating in the eerie silence. No response came, but an unsettling whisper echoed from the shadows, chilling her to the bone. The temperature plummeted, the air thickening with an unspoken malevolence. Summoning her courage, Lydia moved deeper into the emporium, her eyes darting nervously around the spectral display. Every artifact seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, their whispers growing louder, taunting her with incomprehensible secrets. As she cautiously explored the eerie space, a peculiar object caught her eye, a weathered photograph tucked amidst a collection of ancient trinkets. It depicted a taxi, its yellow hue faded with time, and an enigmatic figure resembling Victor, the driver who had ensnared her in this nightmarish ordeal. A jolt of realization struck Lydia. This haunting emporium held the key to her predicament. The photograph seemed to hold a cryptic message, a clue veiled within its aged surface. Driven by an overwhelming sense of urgency, Lydia reached for the photograph. As her fingers brushed against its weathered edges, an otherworldly force surged through her, engulfing her senses in a whirlwind of visions and echoes from a bygone era. In the ethereal realm of visions, Lydia witnessed fragments of Victor's past, an enigmatic figure bound to the spectral taxi, forever condemned to ferry lost souls into this haunted abyss. She felt his torment, his anguish seeping into her very being, a fate intertwined with the cursed taxi that roamed the desolate streets of this spectral domain. With a gasp, Lydia snapped back to reality, clutching the photograph tightly in her trembling hands. Determination flickered in her eyes, a newfound resolve surging within her. Armed with the cryptic clue from the haunted emporium, Lydia embarked on a quest to break free from the clutches of the ghost taxi, to unravel the enigma and put an end to the spectral cycle that had ensnared her.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more similar horror stories.